How's it going, guys? MJ300 here, and welcome to a brand new episode of our Arsenal Road to Glory season. So we are now into season number 4 of this 5-year journey with Arsenal. And if you haven't watched the first 3 seasons, make sure you go back and check those videos out because we have been extremely successful so far. So we've won ourselves a Premier League for the last 3 seasons, so all 3 seasons. We've also picked up a Europa League, a Champions League, and an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. So obviously we've already won it all. I think it's safe to say we are probably the best team in Europe. So the target for years number 4, years number 5 is really just to continue winning the top tournaments and actually even try and get that elusive quadruple. We've had a couple of trebles, but no quadruple as yet. So that would definitely be the target. So in order to do that, we will need to be looking to improve our squad. And we've obviously already done that for those of you that remember. Last January, we made the absolutely crazy signing of Kylian Mbappe on a pre-contract agreement. He'd let his contract run down. He was unhappy in Paris. And what better team to come to than the reigning champions of Europe and also the team where his hero Thierry Henry used to play. So we've got him on contract now for the next 5 seasons, and straight away you can see what a difference he makes up top. 95 overall. It's almost unfair. He will obviously be a great addition. Aubameyang now has left us, and so he had to come in to replace him. We had already signed Luka Jovic, who was maybe going to be our first choice striker, but it didn't really start too well for him last year, and that's why we signed Mbappe on the pre-contract agreement. Jovic had a really good second half of the season though, scoring a goal a game, so I don't think I'm going to sell him just yet. We will keep him in the squad, but obviously he's not going to be first choice. That's going to be Mbappe. So looking at that team there, I mean, we're all in the high 80s apart from Saliba and Bellerin. Saliba I think is going to grow though we're going to put him in some training, and I think he'll get to 87 by Christmas. Bellerin, I mean, 86 is still obviously pretty good, and I don't think we're going to find many right backs out there that are going to be better than him, apart from maybe Alexander-Arnold. And then when we go over to the second team, you can see there, again, everyone is mid-80s, and therefore, with the exception of maybe it's centre-back there, Rob Holding, so I think we will look to bring in another centre-half, and you'll see there, I'm going to try and play Martinelli up top for a few games this year. He's got the really good stats that I think means he could thrive in the middle. And so with that in mind, we will look to bring in another winger on the left-hand side there to rotate with Saka. So with that in mind, I've already gone ahead and added some players to our transfer shortlist, players that we can maybe look to add and bring in. So at centre-half, we've got Ruben Diaz and Dyer Upamecano. Both there in their mid-80s would come into that second 11, be a big improvement over Holding. So either one of those would be very good. And then on the wings, we've got Gnabry, Sancho and Dembele. Obviously, any one of those 3 will be a great addition to our squad and will make us much more deadly going forward. We will look to sign those guys very, very shortly. But before we do that, I want to get into pre-season and play a couple of games here. Now, so you'd think that maybe I would be looking to sign those players now and bring them into pre-season and get them some games. But at the moment, we are in 2022, which means a World Cup is currently going on. And therefore, all the best players in the world, including those guys on the shortlist, will all currently be out playing the World Cup and therefore wouldn't be available for this pre-season tournament. With that in mind, this is the team that we've got. You can see there through our first and second 11, nearly everyone is out on World Cup duty. But we can still put together a pretty good team here. You can see most of those players would be in our first or second team. You know, Jovic, Kimpembe, Saka, Martinelli, Saliba, Bellerin, all good players there. The only slight weak area is Blondo in goal because Perrin and Leno are both out on duty. But Blondo is a very highly rated prospect that we brought through our youth academy a couple of seasons ago. I think he's got a potential of about 95, so he's going to be a very, very good keeper. So probably not the worst thing in the world for him to have a few pre-season games. So we'll jump into this first one here. Up against Dortmund, obviously they'll be weakened. And unfortunately we fall to a 2-0 defeat against Dortmund. They still look like they had a pretty good side out as well. Haaland was there, Can with both the goals, and Ginter and Didi. So still a pretty good team. Unfortunately we lose 2-0. It's only pre-season though. It's not the end of the world and we still have 2 more games. So we go straight up here now to match day number 2 against Jeonbuk Hyundai. And obviously this is a game that I very much would expect us to win. So we'll jump into this again. Same team pretty much. We haven't got any options but to rotate. And we draw 0-0. That's really disappointing. I can't believe we haven't beaten that team. I mean, who even are they? And our team is still full of mid-80 players. So, okay, so just in the middle of this preseason, we've had a few offers come in for some of our players. So first up, we've had an offer for Eddie Nketiah from Real Sociedad. They're offering us 25.4 million, so way above his market value. And, you know, considering that we have now Mbappe, we also have Jovic and then Martinelli who can play up top. I think it makes sense to move on from Eddie Nketiah now. I mean, he's obviously an original Arsenal youngster, and it's sad to see him go, but he's just not going to be getting any minutes. That's a really good offer for him, so we will accept that. Next up, we've had an offer for Matteo Guendouzi. Now, I would be happy to sell him because obviously we loaned him out last year, brought in Barella, who was fantastic, and therefore don't really see much room for Guendouzi moving forward, but I don't want to sell him to a rival, so I'm going to reject that offer for Man City. And then next up, we have an offer here for Rob Holding. Again, we're looking to make an upgrade on him by signing Diaz or Upamecano, so 14.5 million from AC Milan. It's above his value. He's only 80 overall. I'll accept that. And now we've had another offer in again, this time for Mavropanos from Leicester. You know what? I mean, I know they're kind of a Premier League team, but he's only 77 overall, although they're only offering 7.2. So I'm going to go back out and delegate this and say that they need to at least pay his market value. It says we could get as much as 9.2, so I'll put that but 9. I'm not selling him for less than what he's worth. If they want to pay that, then they can. So here we go, our last game in the group now, and it's probably likely we're not going to get through from this group now. We will have to beat them, and we'll have to beat them big in order to progress. We'll simulate here again, not holding out much hope after our first 2 games, but let's see how we get on. And we draw 1-1. Martinelli on the score sheet, Sila for them. And yeah, a very disappointing pre-season. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, it does just give us a little bit more money normally for our transfer budget, but we have plenty of money, which I haven't shown you yet, so I will just show you what it is now. And as you can see, we have a budget of 290 million or 280, something around there. Obviously, we've had those offers in for those other players as well, so it's going to go up. And yeah, so awful lot of money to play with. Those 2 guys that we were looking at, doesn't matter how much they're going to cost, we have more than enough money to pay for them. Okay, so we've had a transfer offer in here for Kimpembe for £54 million from Real Madrid. But we're going to reject that. I really don't think that's great a deal for an 87 overall. He's been quality since we brought him in as well. I don't really want to sell him. We have had confirmation there that Rob Holding has agreed terms with Milan, and he has gone to AC for 11.5. So that does now mean that we can go and sign that extra centre half. So we just need to decide now which of the 2 we go with. We've got this Ruben Diaz and Upamecano here. You can see there from their stats, 75 athleticism versus 76. Technical ability is very similar. They're passing 62, 65. Defending is 85, 84. So that they are very similar players. Ruben Diaz is slightly taller. He is that 1 better overall because he is that little bit more aware. So he's got better composure. He's got better interceptions. He's got better defensive awareness. But other than that, they're very similar. So I think what it comes down to is just which player I would more likely go with. And to be honest, I think it's going to be Ruben Diaz. I mean, we've already got a couple of French centre-halves, so it'd be nice to bring in someone else from a different country. And also, if we're going to try and play to some sort of realism, Upamecano is currently at Chelsea, who's obviously a big rival to us in the Premier League, and it's very unlikely they would sell one of their youngest and most promising centre-halves to us. So therefore, we will go and try and buy Ruben Diaz. Looks like he's going to cost us somewhere between 50 and 60 million pounds. We're not going to pay the 84 release clause. As we saw before, we've got more than enough money, so whatever he costs, it doesn't really matter. So I've gone with an opening bid of 54 million pounds. Wow. They're definitely not accepting that. They want an 80.6, which is an awful lot of money. I don't want to be spending that, even though we can afford it, but it's the principle. So how about 60 million? What do they say to that? No, they're pretty adamant on this 80. So we went back and offered them 64, and they were still unsure about whether or not they would take that. So they've stalled it, which means in a minute they'll come back and say, no, we still want 80. So maybe we will have to try and go with Upamecano if they're going to try and charge us that amount of money. Okay, so there we go. We've had confirmation that Eddie Nketiah has agreed terms with Real Sociedad, so he is going to Spain, and we've been given an extra 21 million. We've also heard from Leicester they are happy to pay that 9 million for Mavropanos, so we will accept that. And what a shock. We've heard them come back and their counter offer is exactly what they were asking for before. So I never really understand this stalling. So we'll go back in to negotiate. We'll see if we can get them down a little bit more. Okay, so we've got them down quite a bit now. We offered 65. They came in at 68. So it looks like we should be able to get something done here around 66. How about the 360s? 666. And they accept that. So there we go. A little bit more money than I was hoping to spend. But, I mean, we've got it. We've got ridiculous amounts of money. And he would definitely improve our defensive core. Okay, so we've got him on the important squad role for 4 years with no release clause. I'm going to go in here with, he hasn't told us what he wants, but I'm going to go with 90,000, a 2 million signing bonus. Slightly less than what he's on at Paris Saint-Germain, but that nice signing bonus will hopefully convince him to sign. And he's happy with it. No negotiations. We could have maybe got him for a little bit less, but I'm happy to pay that. I think that's more than fair for a player of his quality. And we've had another offer in now for Matteo Guendouzi, this time 40.6 from Bayer Leverkusen. Now, I think I'm happy to sell to them. That has come in slightly below his value. It says there we could get as much as 46. So even though we don't really need the money and it's only a little bit extra, I'm going to just delegate this out and try and get the 46, but say that we want at least the 42 that he is worth. And here we go. They've confirmed that they are happy to pay 43 million, so we'll accept that. Looks like Matteo Guendouzi will be on his way to Germany. And there we go. There was confirmation that he has agreed terms with Leverkusen and has gone to them. So we've had an extra 37.5 million added to our budget. And we are just one day away from the Community Shield now. And I figured, seeing as we've sold a couple of our players, it seems like it makes the right time to go in and sign this extra winger that we're going to bring in. So I just removed it from Upamecano. So we've got three options here. We've got Gnabry, we've got Sancho, and we've got Dembele. So let's go have a look quick through the stats here. We can have a look and see that in terms of most athletic is Sancho. Dembele and Sancho's passing is slightly better than Gnabry's, but Gnabry's shooting is better than the two of them. In terms of pace, Dembele is obviously by far the quickest, and the best dribbler is by far Sancho. So each player has all of their pros and cons there, depending on what we're kind of looking for. They've all got at least, Sancho and Gnabry both got the 4-star weak foot, and Dembele has the 5-star weak foot. So I think probably, obviously Sancho is the best player there at 92 overall. He's also going to cost the most amount of money. He's going to cost £108 million, which is an awful lot. Dembele is probably going to cost close to 70 odd million, and Gnabry we should be able to get for a little bit less, 50 or 60, because he is that little bit older. So I think what I want to do here, even though arguably Gnabry is the worst player of the three, he is the player that I want to bring in. Now the reason behind that obviously is he has history of Arsenal. It didn't work out for him last time, and so we've been considering him for a while, and I think it would just be really good to bring him back to the Emirates, give him a second chance, you know, now that he has transformed into the player he is, and give him finally that opportunity to play in front of the Arsenal faithful. So we're going to approach here to buy. We're going to go in and negotiate, try and get a deal done. I'm sure we can. So I'm going to jump straight in here with 58 million and see what they say. And they want 70, so it looks like it's going to go slightly higher than what the computer thought. To be honest, I was going to be happy to pay something like 62 or 65. So we'll see what they say to that. 62 million, no, they're sticking with it. I mean, I'd still pay 70. I think he's probably worth it, and I know I don't need to haggle, but I've always done this in FIFA. I always feel like I need to have the agreement, and there we go. They're happy to pay 65 million. So we'll jump in now, sort his contract out, and then that will be our transfer business done. So we're going to offer him the identical contract to which we just gave Diaz, which was the important role, 4 years, 90 grand a week, and 2 million signing bonus. Is he going to be happy with that? And he is. So there we go. That is done. Gnabry, welcome back to Arsenal. Okay, so here's a quick look at the squads now following those two additions. So first team is still pretty much the same it was last year. Leno in goal, Tierney, Kimpembe, Saliba, Bellerin at the back, Ceballos and Neves in the midfield, Pepe, Brandt, and now Gnabry on that left wing, and then Mbappe, obviously the new addition up top. And the second team will look like this: Perrin, Gaia, Ake, Diaz, Klosterman at the back, Torreira and Barella in the middle, Trincao, Maddison, Saka in behind Martinelli. And obviously the last thing here, because you know I do care about the squad numbers, so we're going to give Serge Gnabry that number 7 shirt. We've given Kylian Mbappe the number 14, and Ruben Diaz has taken 16. Okay, so here we are now. We are at the Community Shield game up against last year's FA Cup winners, Manchester United. Obviously us, the winners of the Premier League. Now, this is still technically a pre-season game, and therefore I am going to simulate it in accordance with how we've been doing in the previous seasons. If you remember, I only play the top 10 league games and then kind of quarterfinals onwards of the cup competitions. But with that being said, we haven't played the Community Shield game yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate this one, but I'll make an agreement right now that if we win the Premier League and the FA Cup next year, we will play it in year number 5, which will be our final season. But we will simulate this one now. I'm going to go with the first team, giving debuts to Gnabry and Mbappe. Obviously, it is still a game, but I would like to see us win. And we do. We win 2-1. And Mbappe, doesn't take him long to get his debut goal for Arsenal. Can't see after how many minutes it was, but he gave Arsenal the lead. Hazard, the new signing for United, equalised, but then Brandt got the winning goal 25 minutes from time. Okay guys, so here we go, match day number 1, and our title defence kicks off with a very difficult visit from fellow title rivals Liverpool. So obviously we are going to go with our first strength team for this. We're going to jump into this now. Always nice to kick off the season in front of your own fans. And hopefully we can give them something to cheer and start the season with 3 points. Okay, so a quick look here at the Liverpool team, see if they've made any additions so far in this summer transfer window, and it doesn't look like they have. So looking for new players that were not there from day number one. Obviously, we knew they brought in Partey and Williams last year. Bartra and Lewis, I think, have joined them previous to this, so still a very good side, but I think our team is better than theirs, so we're going to try and get ourselves the win here. Here is Ceballos. He's gone out wide to Gnabry. Gnabry looks to cut inside. Can he hit one early? He does, but Alisson gets down well low to save. But Fabinho nips in well. He's gone to Williams. Williams has got some space here. Turns, and Keita scores, but he is offside. Well, did he even score? I'm not even sure if he did score. Did it hit the side netting? But he is just half a yard offside, and Arsenal survive. Here is Pepe. He's gone into Brandt. Brandt now has released Mbappe. Can he find Brandt with a return? He can. He must finish. And he does. Off the inside of the post. And are we going to have a connection similar to the one we had with Aubameyang and Brandt, with Mbappe and Brandt? They've linked up here halfway through the first half, and Arsenal finally have the lead. It's 1-0. Here's Mbappe now. And he's fed through. Brandt again. Can he finish and make it 2? Oh, good save, Alisson. Here is Salah now. He's found himself some space. He looks to Ben Warren. Oh, and he's hitting the bar. What an effort. Oh, and the cross can't be cleared. And it's gone to Mane. And Leno saves. Oh, and then Williams now. Why are these clearances not going anywhere? And Salah scores from Tierney on his stronger foot. That was full power. And he just hits it calmly at Williams. What is going on? Arsenal are shambles at the back. And Liverpool hit back straight away. It's 1-1. Here is Neves and Mbappe. Oh, and he can't find the run of Brandt. Oh, but Neves has won it high up the pitch here. Looking for the run. Arriving. Oh, and it's to Mbappe. Oh, and he's missed. I was not expecting the pass to go there. I was trying to tee it up to Ceballos running it. Or Gnabry running on the edge. But Mbappe got to be finishing from 5 yards out. And Liverpool get it away and survive. And it's 1-1. It's a really sloppy first half from Arsenal there. Had chances, took the lead, but gave the goal away. And then should have got ahead again. Right on the stroke of half time. But Mbappe fluffed his lines. But our defending has been absolutely shocking. And I think now all the way back to season number 1. When we played Liverpool. And again, our defending was shocking and we gave them goals. So, seems to be a theme against the high press Liverpool. Need to be better in the second half. Here is Keita now into Williams. Williams got back to Keita. Oh, that's a great save, Leno. Pepe. It's into Mbappe. Looks to hold it up. And Bellerin now. Goes into Pepe. Into Brandt. Can he find one more? That's got to be a foul, ref. Here's Neves now. Into Pepe. Back to Neves. Back to Pepe. Can he finish it? He can. It's really good interlink play there with Neves and Pepe. And 12 minutes from time, Arsenal finally retake the lead. They have not been the better team in this game by any stretch. We've really struggled to create chances. Liverpool looked far more dangerous, but just there, lovely interlink passing. And Pepe calmly slots it past Alisson, and it's 2-1. Here is Neves now. He's gone into Pepe again. And it's Mbappe looking for the run of Saka. And Saka's there and he's away. Can he finish it? Oh, and he strikes well, but Alisson equal to it. He's found Pepe. Overlapping run here of Bellerin. Bellerin. Look to find Pepe again. Can he turn in the box and fire one? And the rebound. Oh, and it fell to Neves who hit the post. But it won't matter. Arsenal have held on for a 2-1 victory on this opening day. And definitely was a case of first game rustiness. We were not great in that game, to be honest. But we scored when it matters. We somehow managed to stop Liverpool from scoring again. And importantly, we pick up the 3 points. Okay, so here we go now. We are up to the UEFA Super Cup final against Inter Milan. Now, as I mentioned before, we've actually won this game the last 2 seasons now, so I don't know if any team has ever won it 3 years in a row. Probably not, and therefore we have a chance to make history here. I'm going to actually go with my second team because, you know, we've got a lot of really good players in this squad now, and it is important that they do all get minutes. And as you can see there, it is still a very, very good side. Everyone is basically 86, 87 or 88. Outfield players at least. Obviously, Perrin is slightly behind at 84. So we're going to jump into this here against Inter Milan and see if we can lift ourselves an early season trophy. So we go now up against Inter Milan, and you recall we absolutely smashed them in the Champions League a couple of years ago with that back three formation that they are playing against us today. So hopefully we can exploit it once again. They've got Skinrar in there and Luiz and Felipe. Valverde, Delaney and Eriksen in the middle of the park. Rafinha and Bailey is the wing back / wingers, and Martinez and Aspas up top. So as I mentioned last time, when we've played against three at the back before, we've been able to exploit it really well. So hopefully we can do something similar today. Here's Maddison now. He's gone out wide to Trincao. Trincão's found Maddison here early, and Maddison can't quite finish. Will he get another chance? The ball falls to Radu. Here is Barella now. He's gone into Maddison. Maddison into Martinelli. And then it's back to Maddison. He hits one and it's saved. Maybe he could have taken it on a bit further, but he's won himself a corner. Here comes in from Barella. And Klosterman's up, but he can't keep it down. Here's Barella now. Can he find Saka through the middle? What a perfectly timed run. And what a finish from Saka, giving Arsenal the lead halfway through this first half. It's a great, powerful run from Barella from midfield. And the timing of the run and the weight and timing of the pass was perfect. And from there, Saka drilled it low and hard past Radu, and it's 1-0. And here comes Saka now. He's gone into Martinelli. Martinelli lays it off to Maddison. Martinelli's through the middle. Loads of space here. Martinelli, can he finish it? Oh, and he's hit the post, but it's fallen right back to him. A huge slice of luck there. And Gabriel Martinelli, with his first start through the middle, has bagged himself a goal. Really good run. It's a great drive. How the keeper doesn't pick up that return off the post. I think it goes right past him. Look at that, right past him. He had no idea what was happening. And Arsenal now lead 2-0. Here's Diego Aspas. He's gone back to Martinez. He's got huge space in the middle. And where are the defence? Inter Milan hit back straight away. It was a really good run from Martinez at first. Played a 1-2 with Aspas. There it is there. Look at that. Arsenal players all around him. And then we couldn't get across quite in time. And he finishes past Perrin. And they're back in it. Here is Maddison now. Into Martinelli. He's found Trincao. Can he finish it? It's gone across to Maddison. And Arsenal cut through into Milan again. That is 3 goals in 6 simulated minutes here of this game. A very, very sweaty goal, but I didn't really feel like Trincao was in the right position. He'd had to have hit it on his weaker foot, so it was the right thing to lay it across. And Maddison taps into an empty net. And there goes the half-time whistle for a really frantic and high-scoring affair in the first half. Arsenal leading 3-1 at the break. Again, we've been able to exploit that space in behind of Inter Milan, with them only having 3 at the back. And even though we ourselves were pretty poor for that Martinez goal, definitely in control going into the second half. Trincao now. He's got the overlapping run of Klosterman. Can Klosterman find someone here? Look back to the edge of the area. Who's arriving? It is Trincao. Can he bend one? That is so close to being 4. I thought it was in for a minute. It has bent an awful long way and it's hit the post. Diaz up against him, using his strength. Really well done from the Arsenal debutant. Here's Maddison now. He's gone into Martinelli. Martinelli's got beyond Skinner. Can he finish it now? Gabriel Martinelli! He can! And it's 4 for Arsenal, 2 for Martinelli. And it looks like we will be retaining the Super Cup for a 3rd year in a row. Once again, just ridiculous space in behind. And Martinelli, once he'd turned Skinner, he was never going to be caught. And it's 4-1. Here's Trincao now. He'll go in towards Maddison. Can Maddison get there? He can. The cross, can it find Martinelli? Oh, and he's almost found his hat-trick. Good save. Here is Diego Aspas. It's gone out to Bailey. It's a good 1-2 there, and into Martinez. Good block from Diaz. But the referee, inexplicably, has decided that that's a penalty. How is that a penalty, ref? I mean, it's not going to matter. Look at this. He blocks it, and then Martinez shoots, falls into him, and apparently that's a penalty. That's the most ridiculous decision I have ever seen. And luckily, it's 4-1, so even if they score, it's not going to matter. Oh, and he skied it anyway. Martinez can't even find the target. The keeper did go the right way. Might have saved it anyway. And there it is. That was the final action. The full-time whistle goes. And Arsenal are victorious once again in the UEFA Super Cup. The damage was really done in that frantic first half, with Saka, Maddison and Martinelli on the score sheet. Martinelli grabbed himself a second, 15 minutes into the second half. And once again, Arsenal are the winners of the UEFA Super Cup. And we go to collect the trophy. And it looks like Nathan Ake has the armband so far. He will lift the trophy for Arsenal. And that is silverware number 1 for the season. And now we return to Premier League action, and our game number 2 is away to West Ham. So we're going to jump into this here simulation, going back to that first 11. They have had a hard start to the season playing Man City and now Arsenal, and they've lost 3-0 for the second game in a row. Mbappe with 2, Pepe with a third, and Arsenal win 3-0. So a couple more transfer offers coming in here again for Nathan Ake, this time for £62.3 million. I mean, it's an awful lot of money, but I just like using him. I think he's a really good defender. He's quick and mobile and agile, and he's left-footed, which I like having the balance of 2 left-footed centre-halves and 2 right-footed centre-halves, so I'm going to go ahead and reject that. We really don't need to sell him, and he's happy at the moment. And the other one there is for Klosterman for 59.8. Again, he doesn't play that much with Bellerin being ahead of him, but he's still a good player, and therefore I'm going to reject that. So up to match day number 3 now, and we have a home tie here against Wolves. So we will jump into this here again, simulate, keeping with our first team, and hopefully we can make it 3 wins out of 3. They've not had an easy start to the season either. Leicester, Man City, and then Arsenal, and Arsenal win 4-0. Brandt with the goal, Pepe with 2, Kimpembe with the 4th, and Arsenal another win and another clean sheet. Okay, so we've completed the first 3 match days now of the Premier League, and next up we have an away tie against Chelsea. However, I feel like it's a good time to leave the video there, and we can kick off with that game at the start of episode number 2. We can play that game, we can do transfer deadline day, and then we can get a good bit into the season, getting through both September and October. In terms of whether or not we'll do anything on transfer deadline day, I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys. I'm pretty happy with the team. I can't really think where we would look to improve that side. There's the first 11 there. I mean, everyone is a high 80 now, really. And then even in the second team there, I know Perrin's an 84, but everyone else outfield is at least an 86. So, and I like using all of the players. There's no one that I really don't enjoy using, and therefore I can't think of where we would look to add. But like I said, any suggestions, let me know down below. Very quick look at the Premier League table. And you can see there, 3 wins out of 3, the same as both Man City and Southampton, who have had a good start to the season. So only 3 teams there with a 100% record. And down at the bottom, there are 3 teams with a 0% record. Leicester, Fulham, West Brom have all yet to register a point. But there we go, we will get into a good portion of the season in episode number 2. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing so you can come with us on this journey as we continue to make Arsenal one of the best teams in Europe. But for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I will see you all next time.